Welcome everybody to our second YouTube video, How to Get Out of Debt, 7 Baby Steps by Dave Ramsey. And my name is Jessica Conant. I work for Golden Sierra Job Training Agency, and I'm so excited to be able to provide another video. Many of us have found that we have some extra time on our hands right now, and we really need to be doing things to stay productive. So let's use part of this time to its fullest extent by planning for our financial future. First of all, this is not a scam. You will not be asked to purchase anything or contact anyone you know, nor will you be asked to sell anything at all. This is simply information for you. Getting out of debt is 20% head knowledge and 80% behavior. These steps have worked for 500,000 people already. They were developed by Dave Ramsey, who's a financial advisor and a talk show host, and he teaches these steps on a daily basis. So why get out of debt? Why is that important? Well, what would you do if your house was paid off? If you had no credit card or car payments? And if your retirement was completely set? For me, I would certainly be sleeping better at night. You could help family. You could spend money on grandkids. You could donate to good causes. You could go on vacation. So how do we get started? What do we do first? So changing your habits is how you get out of debt. Money is emotional, which is why most people like to use a strategy to get through it. So here are the baby steps that we will go over today. 1. Save $1,000 for an emergency fund. 2. Pay off all debt using what's called a snowball method. 3. Save up 3 to 6 months of living expenses. 4. Invest 15% of your income into retirement. 5. Save for college if needed. 6. Pay off your mortgage early. 7. Build wealth to live and give like crazy. Step number 1, save $1,000. Commit to not going into debt anymore. Make that commitment. That's the first step. The borrower is always the slave to the lender. Nothing is more frustrating than committing to a plan and then a hiccup comes along and you need to go back and charge up a credit card again. So how can we do that? We can save $1,000 so when that hiccup comes, we don't have to put it back on a credit card. So how do you get together $1,000? That can sound impossible to some. Do it as fast as possible. Sell something. Sell multiple items. Sell so much stuff the kids think they're next and do it fast. Cut things out of your budget. There's many ways to save up that first $1,000. Step number 2, pay off all debt using the debt snowball. You're going to make the minimum payments on all of your debts except the smallest one. Begin paying off the smallest one first. Pay it off as much as you can. Then, when that one is paid off, you apply that payment to your next largest debt. I'm going to show you an example on the next slide. So here's an example. This person has a Chase credit card, a car loan, a Macy's card, a Visa, and they owe their father some money. And you can see the amounts listed. So the highest one is the Chase credit card, next car loan, Macy's, Visa, father. So the very lowest amount that they owe is to their dad. And so that's the one we're going to concentrate on first. And that's that $100 payment. Doesn't matter what the minimum payments are, just that that's the lowest amount. So that's the one we're going to start with. So let's look at that highest card. That Chase credit card was at $7,000 and the minimum payment was only $100. So if you continue to pay $100 a month on $7,000, and this is not even including interest, it's going to take you 5, almost 6 years just to pay off that $7. And that's not even accounting for interest. Okay, so we're back to our list again. And remember, we're going to make the minimum payments on everything except for the smallest amount, right? So right now we're actually going to be making the minimum payments on everything until we get that smallest one paid off. Now let's take a look at how long that's going to take. So it'll take us 4 months, right, to pay back the father at $100 a month. So after 4 months, we're going to take that $100 and on the 5th month, we're actually going to add it to the next lowest payment or the next lowest amount that we owe, which is the $500 Visa card. So instead of paying $20 on the Visa card, we're going to take that $100 that we were paying to father and roll it into that payment. So we'll be paying $120 a month on that Visa card. Now, as soon as that Visa card is paid off, we are going to then roll the whole $120 into the next lowest amount, which is our $3,000 Macy's card. So now we'll be paying $200 on the Macy's card until we pay it off. Again, we're still making the minimum payments on the higher loans, the Chase credit card and the car loan. So here we are again at the end. Instead of taking almost 6 years to pay off that $7,000 Chase credit card, it's only going to take us a year and 3 months, because after we've paid off all of our other debt, we're now putting $480 a month into that Chase credit card. So the whole entire debt took about 4 years, which even that is better than what we had anticipated, making $100 payments on the $7,000 credit card. Just to pay off that was going to take us almost 6 years. Imagine what you could do if you had even more money to throw into it. So here is an example of, let's say it's the same person, of their budget. So this is how much they currently spend on things. Their total expenses right now are $38.50 a month. Here's some places that we could cut from. Miscellaneous. $300, don't know where it went. Let's do our best to cut that in half. We all have that money that we spend and we're not really sure where it went in our budget. So let's do our best to make an effort to cut it in half, or at least cut it down. If someone's spending $80 a month on shoes, potentially we can take a break from that for a little bit. We can cut down some of the groceries. So if you're spending a high amount on groceries, maybe try meal planning, trying to buy less excess, trying to buy knockoff brands. If you are eating out a lot, that's definitely something that you can cut out. If you have a high cable or phone bill, you can look into ways to reduce those as well. Can't really do a whole lot with electricity, but maybe there's some kind of a rebate that you're not checking into. Maybe you can try, making sure you turn off all the lights, making sure you unplug things. Gas, you can't do a whole lot about. Gym, we can all work out at home if we need to, as we know now. There are so many free YouTube videos. Even the gyms right now, if you log into their websites, a lot of them are offering workout classes virtually for free. You don't even have to be a member. Car insurance, let's see if there's any way we can get a discount. Let's see if we can shop around a little bit. So let's say for this example, this person was able to save $1,000 by making those small changes. Now let's look at how it would look if they added the $1,000 to each of the new payments. So debt 1 and 2 took 1 month. Debt 3 took 2.5 months. Debt 4 took 3.5 months. And debt 5 lasted for almost 5 months. That's 1 year and 2 months. Not 6 years, 1 year and 2 months. Now imagine, I know that you've sacrificed by getting rid of eating out, by not getting your hair done, by cutting back on some of the things that you really enjoy. But if you only had to do that for a year and 2 months, and then you have all of your debt paid off, it's just so incredibly worth it. And now it's gone. Now the snowball is all yours. All that money that you had been putting into paying things off for a year and 2 months is now in your pocket. That's $1,500 a month. And if you multiply that by 12 months, that's $18,000 a year that's back on you. And you're not in debt at all except for your house. And now your debt snowball builds your emergency fund. It secures your retirement. It saves for college, and then it pays off the house early, which frees up more money. These are the next steps. So a key to budgeting, it takes at least 4 months to get the hang of any kind of budgeting, anything new. You need to plan a few days before the month starts. So every single month you need to plan. One of the things that Dave Ramsey does talk about, and you can research it on his website, is budgeting by using the cash method, the envelope method. So you literally budget for $400 a month for groceries. You would take $400 in cash and stick it in that envelope, and that's the cash that you would use for groceries that month. You wouldn't be using your debit card or your credit card. You'd be using cash. You do the same thing for gas and any of your other expenses. The idea behind this is that when we use plastic, we don't really feel the money going away. It doesn't have as much of an impact on us. But when we have paper money in our hands that we're paying for, we can see it as it's dwindling. Many people don't make a budget because they're afraid. And I don't blame them because you might be afraid of what you might find. If someone has overspent to the point that they now face a mountain of debt and little to no savings, you might be shamed into stopping right there. It might just be too hard for you. Please don't fall into that trap. Put your fear or anger aside long enough to get the numbers on paper. Once that's done, bring the emotion back and apply the passion and energy to the plan that you've made. You do, like I said, need to have a written budget, and you have to make a new one every single month. The reason why is because different things happen every month. You might have a higher mortgage payment, you might get a tax refund, you might have a birthday that month. So many different things can happen in different months. Christmas. If you want to win with money, you have got to go into the details. You have to be detailed in what you're spending money on. So if you have one of those mystery piles of money that you're not sure where that $300 goes, you need to try to figure it out. Try to outline, what is it that my money is going toward? Is it snacks? Is it coffee? When you're job searching, you want to pause the debt snowball and you want to concentrate on maintaining the four walls. And that's where a lot of us are right now. Right now, we're stuck at home, we can't work, and we need to just really concentrate on our shelter, our food and our utilities, and our transportation. Please remember that this is temporary and do everything you can to get back in the saddle as quickly as possible. And part of that includes watching workshops like this. Work on your resume, work on your interviewing strategies, plan for your financial future when things get back to normal. Step 3 is to save up 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. So look at, how much money do you earn a month? What is your budget? How much money do you spend a month? Might even be a better way to look at it. How much do you need if you had to replace your income for 3 to 6 months? Then take that $1,500 that you were paying towards debt, car payments, and go ahead and put that in a savings account until you get to the amount that you would need to survive without your job for 3 to 6 months. I think especially during this time, we can all see how important something like that is. Step 4, the debt snowball can now continue to be used towards saving for a car that you pay cash for, going into retirement. You can max out the allowable amount each year into a Roth IRA. Learn to live below your means. Live like no one else so later you can live like no one else. If you don't have children, or if they're grown and gone, you can skip this step. Come up with a figure of how much you think the student will need and work backwards using the length of time. Age 8 is usually a good time to start, that you have to save, the interest rate, and then look at a monthly amount. After the emergency fund of 3 to 6 months is in your place and 15% is going into retirement and the college fund is being filled, every penny extra goes toward the mortgage. If you pay off the mortgage first and don't save, you will end up with a whole lot of house, but nothing to live off of. It's important to begin investing for retirement first and then paying off the house. Live and give like crazy. You've done all the steps. Now is your time to go on vacation. Now is your time to help others. So just to reiterate the 7 baby steps: step 1, save $1,000 for an emergency fund. Step 2, pay off all debt using a debt snowball. Step 3, save up 3 to 6 months of living expenses. 4, invest 15% of your income into retirement. 5, save for college. 6, pay off your mortgage early. And 7, build wealth to live and give like crazy. Do you know what you can do when you don't have any more payments? Anything you want. So that's a direct quote from Dave Ramsey, who is the author of these things that you can do to get out of debt. Over 500,000 families have used his plan to dump millions of dollars in debt and change their financial futures forever. So I'm going to leave you with one last question, and then I'll give you some information about Dave Ramsey. What did you spend your money on in the last 24 hours? Right now, it's probably very easy to know what we spent our money on. But think about days when we go about our lives, we're going into work, we're driving through town. What are we really spending our money on? So Dave Ramsey can be found on Talk 650. It's the AM station here, Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. It's pretty informative. He takes calls. You could call in if you have questions. I would highly recommend going to his website, daveramsey.com, for free budgeting tools, videos, and articles. There's even some cool things in there for helping your kids understand how to budget. So please check him out. Call into the show if you have any questions, and keep us in mind if you have any questions or concerns during this time. If you need help with your resume, if you want to talk about interviewing, if you're looking for work and you don't know where to start, please give us a call.